So you want to lose body fat and you want to know what it actually takes to successfully transform your body for the long term. Well, if that's the case, you came to the right video, because in this video, I'm going to share with you the raw truth about fat loss that nobody out there talks about. So this is not mainstream advice at all. I'm going to share with you the principles that if mainstream would actually tell you this, I'm pretty sure they'd run out of business, because people would stop buying all the fitties, the supplements, the garbage waist trainers and whatever not people are getting nowadays, and that's being pushed all the time, because they would know the truth. And that's why the mainstream will never actually tell you this. And these are things that are based on my personal experience, having transformed my body, having been lean for more than 6 years now, and having actually done this with hundreds of other clients, and also looked through all the scientific literature. I can really tell you what is the truth, what it really takes. And there's no easy and fast. I'm going to tell you that right now, because if there was, we'd probably figure it out by now. So this is not easy or fast type of advice, but it's what really works. And if you're new here, by the way, my name is Mario Tomic, and if you're interested more in fitness, nutrition, how to actually live a healthy, sustainable lifestyle, consider subscribing below. Make sure to hit the bell icon to enable notifications for future videos. And now let's dive into the truth. So one of the first things about fat loss that nobody out there likes to talk about, in fact, the mainstream is avoiding this topic like the plague, is how long it actually takes to see great results and the importance of patience. And here's the thing, a while back, I was actually consulting with some sales and marketing quote-unquote experts, and what they told me is, Mario, you can't sell patience. In fact, avoid this word completely because it's bad for business. And I completely disagree with that. I actually don't work with those people anymore, because I don't agree with any of that, because I think you get it. I think people ultimately get it, that there is no easy and fast. If you've ever achieved anything worthwhile having in your life, you know that it didn't come overnight. You know that it took hard work, it took patience, it took a lot of frustrations and battles and things like that in order for you to get that result. So who are we kidding here? It's not gonna happen overnight. If you have to lose, let's say 30 or 40 pounds, that's not gonna happen in a month. So we actually have to look at, okay, how long it is going to take, and understand that the choices that we make every day, that the results of those choices will be invisible for some time until we actually start seeing those choices compound into a big transformation. So let me give an example of this. Let's say you eat a salad right now and you gotta lose 30 pounds. Well, you're gonna wake up tomorrow, you're gonna look exactly the same, right? Same thing if you eat a hamburger right now, you're gonna look exactly the same tomorrow. So it's not what you do once, it's the compound effect of all these actions over a long period of time that gets you overweight or gets you fit. If you actually would to gain 30 pounds of body fat and you wake up and there's a huge belly next day after you ate a hamburger last night, well, you're not gonna wanna eat that hamburger ever again. The same thing is if you just smoked one cigarette and you woke up the next day and you couldn't breathe, you need a respirator, well, you probably wouldn't smoke anymore. But it's not how it works. The results are invisible. The results of those tiny choices over time, they compound. The same thing is with eating salad, going to the gym, doing your walking, investing time in learning about nutrition. All these things, they do take time to show results. And this is where people fail, is either they're completely ignorant to the fact that it's going to take time, or they're not looking for ways to enjoy the actual process, and they're not paying enough attention to the process, and they're only waiting for that end result. And of course, that end result doesn't come quickly. It's not going to come in a week or two, and then you get discouraged and you fall off track. I'm telling you, it's going to take patience. It might not be what you want to hear, but I'm telling you the truth, because I've done this myself. I've done it with hundreds of clients, so I've never seen anybody just immediately transform themselves in a month. So it does take time. So you better start looking for ways to enjoy the process, educating yourself on how to do the process right, so you will actually eventually get to the result. But again, be ready that it's going to take some time. Be ready to invest that patience and cultivate patience. And I know this is hard to hear for a lot of people, but it's really the truth and what you need to know. And there is no quick fix. There's no supplement. There's nothing out there that you can just immediately start doing that's going to magically transform your life. It's not some kind of 2,000-year-old secret where you can just sit on your couch and visualize abs and they just appear the next day. That doesn't exist, right? Like, the secret is patience over a long period of time. That is the secret, right? And I think we all ultimately know this, but it's kind of hard to admit to ourselves because we want the easy result. Of course, we're wired for that instant gratification. Like, we all want that quick change, but that's just not how the world works. Now, the second thing about fat loss and transforming your body that is really the truth that many out there are trying to find ways to avoid or weasel their way around is that you have to put in a lot of hard, frustrating, and boring work. And here's the thing with this. If someone comes out there and says, oh, we're this cutting edge company, we found a new way, there's been this scientific breakthrough, we can hack your metabolism, we can do all these different things, and it's gonna be easier for you. That should immediately trigger your BS radar, because there is no such thing as easy in this world. You know that if you want great success, that let's say you've been successful in your relationship, let's say you have a great career, a great business, or you learn how to play the piano or guitar or whatever, you know that it took a lot of time, a lot of hard work, that it was frustrating at times, that it was boring at times, that there was just no way around that. And so who are we kidding here? It's gonna be hard, and that's just something that's the nature of the game. Now, here's the thing. You can put in hard work in a good optimized system that's going to yield better results, or you can put in hard work in a system that's not very optimized, so it's not going to give you as much results. But hard work is already assumed. That's assumed that you're going to have to put in hard work, because if you don't, you're going to see zero results. If someone with a suboptimal system maybe sees some results, maybe get to an average level, which is okay if they're happy with that. If they want to reach the next level, they have to get a better system. And really, it's about the hard work is a given. It's the foundation of everything. And without it, nothing works. And you have to be aware of this. So have that BS radar ready for this, because this thing is full of stuff like there that's promising you this easy path. There's just no such thing. I wish there was. I wish I could tell you that we discovered some old ancient Chinese secret that's going to hack everything and just avoid hard work, but there is just no such thing. Now, the third thing about fat loss and transforming your body and changing your life for better that you need to know about, that those who've done these things have versus those who haven't been able to do this and keep consistently feeling they don't have it, is you need a completely different operating system. And your operating system is the way you think, your decision-making processes, your algorithms that you make, those tiny little choices every single day that we already know that they compound to huge differences in the long run. How you make those choices depends on your operating system. And when you're getting advice from outside, you can think of that almost as software. And if that software, now even if it's super optimized, gets into an operating system that's buggy, laggy, outdated, glitchy, well, that software could be perfect, but it's entering a system here, that operating system is not optimal, so that software itself is also going to be laggy, glitchy, and crashing. And I've realized this myself on my journeys, that psychology matters as much as what you do outside, as much as the external stuff. The internal battles that you deal with, like lack of consistency, learning how to be consistent, learning how to be disciplined, learning how to build habits, and how to prevent self-sabotage, how to get out of your own way. And I've realized that I was getting a lot of great advice, but that advice, that software that I was getting wasn't really being well received by my operating system, and that was really the issue. So I had to learn how to upgrade my operating system as well, how to think better, how to have a better mindset, how to actually master these things like consistency, how to understand this brain and how my brain works and how I make these decisions. And this is what I do with clients today. This is what we realize is really the secret, because it's not just about the external stuff. You can have the most perfect program in the world, and in fact, let's say we take 100 people and we give them their perfect programs that are specifically designed for their bodies, so they know exactly what to do in the gym, they know exactly how to eat. But if their mental side of things, if their psychology, their operating system is not dialed in, guess what? A lot of those, the majority of those will fail, because they're not going to be consistent. They're not going to have the discipline. They're not going to have the right mindset with things. So even though they have the perfect program, they're not going to stick with it. And that's what I realized on this journey, that nobody really talks about. Everybody's ignoring the psychology, the behaviors, the things that really matter day to day. And when life throws stuff at you, how do you deal with that emotionally, and all these little things? Because we humans, we can really systematize things. We can have the processes, the algorithms, but we're still operating on this system. Our brain is not really well adjusted to the modern environment. So we really need to know how that brain works and how it actually will work when we start making these changes, and what to expect. How to fight those internal struggles that you're going to be dealing with when you actually self-sabotage yourself because you get, let's say, complacent or something like that happens, and you just stop trying as hard, and you're kind of wondering, well, I know this is good for me, but why am I not doing that? Why am I not doing things that I already know are good for me? And this is why I keep emphasizing the internal things as well as the external stuff, because I know it matters a lot. And it's almost like 50-50. You got to do both, and you got to optimize both, and that's how you got to work on this, and that's what's going to make you successful and enable you to reinvent yourself and become a better individual overall and be successful. And by the way, I'm going to leave a video here at the end where I talk about more habits for fat loss that I definitely want you to check out because they're going to help you a lot in your journey. As well as if you want to work with me, I'm going to leave a link in the description below where you can check out some of the results I've been getting with my clients. If you're interested in that, check that out. Other than that, I will see you in that next video.